Coming up on Nebraska Nightly, the latest on Nebraska election results, which are taking more than a week to be called.
And information on how to stay safe after multiple student deaths across the nation.
Plus, the latest on a split U.S. Congress.
This is Nebraska Nightly.
Live from the University of Nebraska College of Journalism and Mass Communications, this is Nebraska Nightly.
Thank you for joining us this fantastic Friday. I'm Elena Tomish.
And I'm Rebecca Heckel. Last week was filled with tight races for some Nebraska officials. Major races were called quickly, such as the 1st Congressional District for Mike Flood and Governor for Jim Pillen. But some local races have yet to be called. After Nebraska Nightly's election wrap-up show last Friday, Danielle Conrad was declared the winner of District 46 for the Nebraska Unicameral Legislature, beating out opponent James Michael Bowers by 2% of the vote. And the Lancaster County attorney race was decided just today. Incumbent Pat Condon will win re-election over Adam Moorfeld. Moorfeld announced on Twitter this afternoon that he had called Condon to concede.
A student charged with killing 3 University of Virginia football players and injuring 2 others was denied bond at a hearing Wednesday. Chris Jones Jr. is accused of shooting his fellow students after a field trip Sunday. Authorities say the shooting happened on the bus when it returned to the Charlottesville campus. In the same week, a stabbing killed 4 students from the University of Idaho. Nebraska Nightly spoke with UNLPD on tips for staying safe on campus.
If it's an immediate thing, 911's always the best thing. You know, if you see it and it appears to be happening right then, obviously 911's the one you'd want to call. Now, if it's something that it's not an immediacy, but you have some information, it's on social media or it's whatever, it's still the police department, but you could call a non-emergency line. So here at UNL, it'd be the 472-2222 number.
NATO leaders are working with Poland to determine the origin of missiles that hit a town that borders Ukraine. 2 people were reportedly killed, but Russia's defense ministry says they have nothing to do with the attack. U.S. State Department personnel say they cannot confirm the circumstances of the strike in Poland, and the NATO country is now calling on its allies for support. Jen Sullivan breaks down the reported attack and explains how global leaders are reacting.
Plumes of smoke fill the sky in the town of Przewidów, Poland, where 2 possible missiles landed, killing at least 2 people. It's unclear where these projectiles came from, but this town borders Ukraine and happened roughly at the same time Russia launched its biggest wave of missile attacks on Ukrainian cities in more than a month, leaving some to question whether Russia played a role.
Today happened what we warned about a long time ago. This terror is not limited to our national borders. It has spread to the territory of Moldova, and today, Russian missiles hit Poland.
Russia's defense ministry denies their involvement, but the possible attack has many global leaders on edge. A NATO official saying, "We are looking into these reports and closely coordinating with our ally Poland." The U.S. echoing a similar sentiment.
We agreed to support Poland's investigation into the explosion in rural Poland near the Ukrainian border, and I'm going to make sure we figure out exactly what happened.
The Pentagon saying the U.S. would defend its NATO ally.
We will defend every inch of NATO territory.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
And while the confusion continues about the missile strike, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin says whatever the conclusion may be, the world knows Russia bears the ultimate responsibility. And let's take a quick check at the weather. Macy, how are we looking for football on Saturday?
Rebecca, we're looking at a really cold game day. It's not going to get more than, honestly, 30-some degrees. 31 is what they're saying. We could get up into 32, maybe 33, but with those wind gusts of 10 to 18, we're looking at it to stay pretty chilly. There is a 50% humidity. They're talking about slight chance of flurries in the morning, but with that game starting at 11, I think it's going to be a little too brisk. Bring some extra layers.
All right, Thank you so much, Macy Neumeister. We will have more right after the break.
Democracy to me means living in a place where there is a stable government as well as a place where everybody feels included.
To me, democracy means that even the little voices have a say.
One quote comes to mind is, of the people, by the people, for the people, by Abraham Lincoln.
To me, democracy is having your voice heard and power to the people.
Democracy to me means being free and transparent for everyone.
The voice of the people.
Hey, hey, go home! These racist dogs have got to go! Hey, hey, go home! These racist dogs have got to go!
Welcome back. We're looking at our next 7 viewing day. Up next, we have our look at the game. The game day forecast is on Friday. We're looking at that scattered chance of flurries with a low of 11 degrees in the morning. If we were getting ready to go out to that game at 11, I would make sure to bundle up and get some extra weather, get some extra clothes in there. But we're looking at sunny for the rest of the week. Sunny and 56 by Wednesday. I mean, I could take that any day. Up next after that, we got our look at, we're just going to take a look at what's going on here in the U.S. Only with Orlando looking at a high of 66, but New York had some record-breaking snow coming in. Certain areas looking at 2 feet, but by the end of the day, there's areas with 4 to 5 feet of snow, which is a little outstanding. Up next, we got to look a bit deeper at our next 5 viewing days. We have Monday, again, sunny with a low of 19, but as that sun comes out and the day gets going, we're looking at 51. Same with Tuesday, 56 might be your last chance to get your car washed before that cold weather comes in for the rest of the winter.
Man, I'm hoping that with some of that cold weather, we'll at least get a little bit of snow because I hate it being cold without any snow. All right, after Republicans locked down control of the House by a slim majority, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she'll not run for a leadership position in the next House. She announced the move on Thursday, speaking to her colleagues in a speech. Pelosi says that doesn't mean Democrats are backing off their priorities. Amy Kiley reports they've got busy plans for the rest of the year.
In the affirmative, the motion is agreed to.
Democrats are projected to lose control of the House next year, and they're rushing to approve legislation before then. The Senate could vote on a bill protecting marriage equality as soon as this week. 12 Republicans helped it get past a procedural hurdle. That's enough to beat a filibuster.
This legislation just says that the status which is conveyed by one state has to be recognized by another. At the same time, this legislation provides important religious liberty protections.
Advocates want the House to pass the Senate version of the bill this year. That's before apparent incoming Speaker Kevin McCarthy takes control of the chamber's agenda. Some Democrats say they feel similar pressure to secure funding for Ukraine.
I feel very strongly that the Republican Party is overwhelmingly in support of defending Ukraine. Future Speaker McCarthy, if that comes to pass, will he bow to these small number of voices?
Two-party control of Congress has been known to cause gridlock, but bipartisanship is always possible.
I hope that they stand for their beliefs, but they continue to engage with Democrats when they think we can get something done that's good for the country.
We have got to keep this march toward a more perfect union.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And in other political updates, former President Donald Trump announced his re-election campaign Tuesday at his Mar-a-Lago estate. Trump lost his initial re-election bid to President Joe Biden in November 2020 and has spent the past 2 years claiming the 2020 election was stolen. Trump announced his 2024 campaign much earlier than other potential candidates, some say to get a head start or to intimidate others who were projected to run, such as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
And speaking of Florida, Nebraska Nightly reported several weeks ago that Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse was rumored to be the next president of the University of Florida. It's now official. The Florida Board of Governors approved Sasse as the new president of Gator Nation earlier this month. Sasse announced his resignation from the United States Senate via Twitter. saying he will finish the current Senate session and resign in January. Sass's replacement will be appointed by Nebraska's Governor-elect Jim Pillen once he officially takes office in 2023.
And in some exciting news for our very own College of Journalism and Mass Communications, the Don and Lorena Meyer studio officially opened on Thursday with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. The new studio has been in the works for more than a year now and has state-of-the-art broadcasting equipment. It also includes at least 2 news sets and space for students to work on the latest and greatest.
Vision in the college is to be the national leader in experiential journalism and mass communications education. The Don and Lorena Meyer studio will provide an opportunity for students to gain hands-on learning experience from that first semester they enroll in the college. The studio will allow students to experiment, to play, to fall in love with media, or to find out they are not cut out for it and get out. I'm okay with that option too. But they can do that all while building their professional portfolio with the latest broadcasting production technology. The Don and Lorena Meyer studio will also make learning visible across our college campus and community. It will become a centerpiece of our college.
And Nebraska Nightly is excited to announce that at least part of our last show of the semester will be broadcasted live from the new studio on December 2nd. And I am just so excited about that, Rebecca.
I know, me too. I think it's going to be amazing and an awesome experience. We'll have more for sports after the break.
Don't let it happen to other Big Ten schools. Go to saveourdinos.org to learn more.
Toilets can use 5 to 7 gallons per flush, making it the main source of water use in a home. You can lose more than 20 gallons of water a day from a single drippy faucet. Kitchen faucets use about 1.5 to 2 gallons per minute, whereas older faucets use more water. Wasting water is wasting time. Stop water waste now.
And now we'll hear from Nathan Hawkins with sports. Nathan, what's going to happen tomorrow with the Wisconsin game?
Well, Elena, we know it's going to be cold as there's just 1 week left in the Huskers football season. And while the Huskers are out of contention for a bowl game, eyes are on the future. The question is, who will be the leader at the helm of the football team's future? As a whirlwind of rumors continue to swirl, Director of Athletics Trev Alberts appeared on Sports Nightly on Wednesday night, where he discussed the coaching search. He acknowledged the search has been extensive while asking fans for patience as a decision looms.
Just really pleased with the process, really pleased with the amount of data and the amount of work that we've been able to do, and looking forward to the day when we can. I understand it's hard sometimes to say just be a little bit patient, but we'll have to be there as a fan base. But I do appreciate our fans giving us the space to do what we said we would do. We were going to dive into a deep process, a detail-oriented process, and I think we've made very good progress.
Coach is currently on staff. Interim head coach Mickey Joseph said it's a 2-game season ahead for the Huskers as they prepare for their final home game this Saturday against Wisconsin. Joseph spoke more on the team's mindset as they look to notch their first win against the Badgers since 2012.
Well, it's what I said in the beginning. We're going to control what we can control. And right now it's a 2-game season. And we talked about that with the players. It's a 2-game season, and now the most important thing on the schedule is Wisconsin, and let's go at Wisconsin, but control what you can control.
Top the list of things they'll need to control this weekend is Wisconsin's run game, as running back Braylon Allen sits 4th in the Big Ten in rushing. Good news, though, for the Huskers. Joseph said starting quarterback Casey Thompson is likely to make his return to the field as they look to send the seniors home with a Senior Day win. On to basketball. The season is underway and high expectations in a 2-0 start has the women's team ranked 22nd in the nation. They traveled an hour up the road for their first big test, a top 25 matchup against 20th ranked Creighton. First quarter, Jazz Shelley with the ball. You can't give her space back there. She's lethal from three, and she led the Huskers with 14 points, but things quickly turned south for the Huskers. Mally Mogensen from behind the arc for the Blue Jays, and it falls. Creighton led 22-11 after one quarter. Second quarter, a three-point shooting clinic for Creighton, this one by Emma Ronsick. Blue Jays net 11 threes in the contest and shoot 40% from behind the arc, and the Huskers move to 2-1 as they fall 77-51. Let's head to the Big Apple where the Big Reds men team takes on St. John's. Casey Tominaga from the corner for three, and it's money. He led the Huskers tonight with 15 points off the bench, and the Huskers lead 27-20 at halftime. But the Red Storm surging back, down two on the fast break, and Joel Soriano, foul and all, gets it to fall. They move ahead. Later in the second half, St. John's trying to get some cushion, and David Jones nails the three. The Huskers fall apart in the second half and move to 2-1 as St. John's wins it 70-50. The volleyball team had a big test this weekend against number 6 Ohio State, and the Huskers fell in 4 sets. The result ultimately rested on some tightly contested sets, with Ohio State taking the first set 31-29, while Nebraska took set 3 28-26. Allie Batenhorst was the player of the game, but the Huskers fall to 22-3 as I near Big Ten tournament action. Next week here in Lincoln are the NSAA State Football Championships in Memorial Stadium. Be sure to follow Unlimited Sports on Twitter and head to NebraskaNewsService.net for in-depth coverage of the events. That's all from sports. Elena?
Thanks, Nathan.
We'll be back right after the break.
Many of the brands you love don't love animals like you do. Look at the labels of products you use for a bunny logo signifying they don't lab test on animals. Check the label for those who aren't able. Start making the shift by visiting crueltyfreekitty.com today.
Democracy to me means living in a place where there is a stable government as well as a place where everybody feels included.
To me, democracy means that even the little voices have a say.
One quote comes to mind is of the people, by the people, for the people by Abraham Lincoln.
To me, democracy is having your voice heard and power to the people.
Democracy to me means being free and transparent for everyone.
The voice of the people.
All right, welcome back. Let's hear from Turner Wistruck for entertainment. Turner, tell me we got some indoor activities because it is chilly out there.
I feel you there, Rebecca. Being cold outside is no fun. So what about inside? Tonight is free skate night at UNL's own Breslow Ice Hockey Center. From 8 p.m. to 11 p.m., students who bring their end cards can skate on the ice for free, with a $3 rental fee for skates. Make sure to bring some friends along. I can tell you from personal experience, falling on your face is much more fun with your favorite people laughing behind you. If the ice doesn't bring you enough holiday cheer, a certain playhouse might have you covered. This Saturday and Sunday, the Lincoln Community Playhouse is putting on their production of A Christmas Carol. Adapted from the Charles Dickens tale of the same name, this one-man retelling will take you through the well-known tale, all performed by the Playhouse legend, Dick Terhune. For more information, visit lincolnplayhouse.com. Maybe you're in the mood for theater, but not quite feeling the Christmas spirit yet. There's a show for you too. With Death of a Salesman, presented by the Nebraska Repertory Theater here on campus, this production follows the story of Willie Loman, a traveling salesman and family man. With his career crumbling and unfulfilled dreams taking prominence in his mind, questions are posed about the cost of chasing the American dream. You can catch this thought-inducing show at the Howell Theater tonight at 7:30 and Sunday at 2 p.m. For more information, visit nebraskarep.org. Dead Week is only a hop, skip, and a jump away. Students are no doubt stressed and tensions are likely at their height. Luckily, the Gateway Mall has you covered. This Saturday, you can head to the mall to stretch and de-stress with some yoga. Sponsored by Shepherd's Rest Goat and Sheep Rescue, from 10 a.m. to noon, you can do yoga with, you guessed it, goats. The event is instructed by Sheila Palmquist, owner of Lincoln Yoga Center, so you can be sure to get a good workout in. You can register for the event online at shepherdsrestrescue.com.
All right, thank you so much, Turner. I might have to try some of that yoga. And to wrap up our show tonight, a special tribute to our veterans.
Last Friday was Veterans Day, and to honor those who have served in our community, the City of Lincoln held the 4th Annual Veterans Parade on Sunday, November 13th. This year's theme was Honoring Women Veterans. In keeping with the theme, the Offutt Honor Guard, consisting of only female members, represented the colors. To kick off the parade, the mayor of Lincoln, Larian Gaylor Baird, spoke to honor women for their service. Alongside the mayor were two female veterans, Roma Amundsen and Terry Clark. Both spoke at the event.
Major Beatrice Stroop of the Women's Army Corps summarized the feeling of women who served in the military. It just isn't my brother's country or my husband's country, it's my country as well. And the war just wasn't their war, it was my war, and I needed to serve in it.
Have served across the state. Amundsen also noted that nationally, as of September, 27% of the armed forces consist of women. The parade showcased several high school bands across Lincoln, as well as groups and organizations representing veterans in our community.
Thank you so much for joining us on Nebraska Nightly. And reminder, we do not have a show next week. Have a great Thanksgiving break. We'll see you December 2nd.
Live from the University of Nebraska College of Journalism